So a little background on you guys. Why don't we dive in? Chris, why don't you start? You want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I grew up just outside of Chicago in Riverside, Illinois. Went to college in Rhode Island for 3.5 years, and then started cooking when I was like 15 at a little restaurant in my hometown, and never looked back.
Courtrights, right, or something like that?
I worked at Courtrights in high school. Before that is a place called the Choo Choo Cafe,
Oh, okay.
spelled
I take my kids.
CHEW. CHEW.
That's
Terrific
great.
puns.
Yeah.
It was on the train tracks, so
Yeah.
even
multiple
better.
meanings. You guys get it?
What kind of food did they?
Yeah.
what kind of food were they?
Lots of Chipotle stuff. Not like Chipotle.
Oh, really?
Not like Chipotle the restaurant. Like it
like
was.
the
It
actual
was
pepper.
probably 1992 or 3, I think, and everything was Chipotle cream,
Yeah.
chicken, Chipotle something, shrimp, Chipotle, pasta, like you name it, and
Chipotle's delicious.
grilled flatbreads, and everything we could rip off from Wolfgang Puck.
Yes.
Oh, it was an actual. It wasn't like a cafe food. It was actual like.
It was a restaurant. Yeah,
Oh.
brunch on Saturday, Sunday, and dinner service through the week.
So the move from there to Courtrights, what was like the push there for you?
I don't know. Huh?
So you got fired.
No, I never got fired. I don't know. I don't remember. Probably took some time off in the summer and got a job when school started again when I was like a junior or senior.
Got it.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
And then why Johnson and Wales? Like why all the way from Chicago to
I got a little scholarship to head
Oh,
out there.
shit.
So
Very cool.
that was the reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if someone's gonna help me
for
pay for
school.
my school, then
Yeah.
let's roll.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So
Very
you
cool.
knew from a very, very young age that you were. This was it. This was your career path.
Yeah, man, I was not a talented athlete. You know what I mean? So like that was not the path.
You said you wrestled right in high school.
Yeah, I wouldn't say well. I mean, I played football and some other stuff, but like never like I played basketball, but
Yeah.
I'm a 5'10" white kid with no hops and no handles and so that was thick Polish stock, like it was not in the cards. So, cooking kind of became the after school savior where it's like I wasn't out smoking weed every day, I wasn't riding my skateboard, I wasn't hanging out, and it got me to a point where I could do something that I felt was still team oriented and yet individual, and it pushed me, and I had a lot of support from a lady who was a teacher at my high school named Julie Morley, and she pushed me to compete, and she pushed me to do all sorts of other stuff that I would never have access to without her information. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then was that something like when you were at school in Providence, you were like, I want to go work for him, or?
I had a roommate in college who was from New Jersey, and he lived like the equidistance as I was to downtown Chicago. He was from Manhattan.
Oh,
And
cool.
so we kind of had similar upbringings. And when it was time for us to do our first internship, he went to Danielle.
Okay.
And so he had kind of an in. And once we graduated, we had interviewed and did a stage up at Cafe Balut, and they picked us both up. So
That's awesome.
That was right out of.
culinary school.
Holy shit! So
How long
you're
were you there?
21.
A couple years. Not long enough.
And then you came back to Chicago and worked at True. That was your next.
Yeah, I left after 9/11. I left the December after 9/11. It was time to come back home after.
Man, so you were in New York
Oh,
during
shit.
9/11.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school at that time.
bananas.
We
We
talked
were
about
juniors, Tom.
No, I was a sophomore.
Really?
I was in chemistry. Yeah.
Oh, I was in
100.
chemistry too. You're right. I
Yeah.
was a sophomore too.
Andy was super high.
Yes.
No, this is the early years of Andy, man.
Right?
Studious. Very cool. And then what was it like going under Rick's wing?
Yeah, I worked for Tremonso for a long time, like 8 or so years, and
Yeah.
we opened a bunch of restaurants together, and I mean that as his subordinate completely. But he kind of let me do a lot of stuff that I wasn't ready to do, from whether it was a cooking standpoint or a managerial standpoint or a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
And we wrote cookbooks together and did photo shoots and traveled the country.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was honestly like a kind of education that I don't know how else I would have gotten it, because it
Right.
kind of prepared me for a lot of stuff that was to come.
Yeah, the
So-
travel and stuff definitely feels like, something. Even Andy would tell me a story when like you guys were out in San Francisco, right?
Yeah. No, that sounds a lot like
Right.
kind of our relationship where, there were so many experiences I would have never, ever been a part of if I didn't work for you.
Yeah,
for
we
all those
just,
years.
we just got lucky, like it was right time, right place.
Yeah.
And like I said, Rick treated me extremely well
Yeah.
and gave me a lot of rope.
Yeah.
But it was, I never wanted to disappoint, and it was always about organization and discipline and
Yeah.
trying to be structured. And so he didn't have to worry about anything. That was my only goal. It's like, all right, am I dialed in enough so that, he's not going to freak out about,
Yeah.
our stuff landing in Naples, Florida,
Yeah.
when he didn't see a box get packed. It's like,
Yeah.
so it was a huge education.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really underrated. As all of us here are in this position. But when we were coming up, like those opportunities to like travel with your boss and step outside of your workplace, and you gain these experiences. Like I've traveled to open restaurants for my companies, and those are huge steps. I feel like in my career that like there's an appreciation to that, right? Like
Oh, for sure.
you're like, holy shit, these guys really do give a fuck about me, and it's like they're willing to pay for me to go and experience something outside of the city and outside of my kitchen.
Yeah, it's
That's
exposure.
yeah.
It's again, if you've got the crew that are dedicated and the folks that show the initiative to want to be something more than you are,
Yeah.
those are the guys that like Joe, like Andy, like they've all run on to do their own businesses, and it's like hopefully you act as a stepping stone to get them there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this is where it gets interesting because now at Osteria de Tremonto, this is where you two met, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
Love at first sight.
I know that's what it sounds like. So Joe, you want to tell us about? So you grew up in Prairie View, is that right?
Yeah, technically, yes. It's like Buffalo Grove area now.
I couldn't find it on the map. I was
I
like,
don't even know if it
What?
honestly exists anymore.
I was telling them, I was like, I
Um,
look for it and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, so my grew up in the north suburbs here of Chicago. My parents moved there in like 1982. Bought a piece of property, about 8 acres. When there was nothing, it was apple orchards and fruit farms and vegetable farms. Basically, suburbia kind of grew up around us,
Yeah.
crowded everything in. But they're still there. The farm across the street from us, which I think is down now to probably around 100 acres. And my parents' property, which is 8 acres, is still there.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up in kind of, at that time, until suburbia kind of encroached on everything, it was kind of a farming community.
Yeah,
But
pretty rural up there.
it was, but I mean, it blew up really quick.
Right. It doesn't even look the same
No,
anymore.
you would never, like, we are the last shred of any agricultural anything there. And my family, my father was not a farmer. We basically rented the property out to the people across the street from us, and they farmed it. But that was my first kind of introduction to food.
yeah.
Well, food and the food chain and food supply. Like the very first job I've ever had was working at a farmer's market for the farmer
that's
across
so
the street. I was
cool.
like 9 years old. And she would take me. Yeah, I mean, it was like I want to say I was like probably 10 or 11. And they would take me, and the skill set of like learning how to talk to people.
Yeah.
But even
I'm still learning.
interaction with individuals taught me a lot about what the produce was, the seasonality of things,
Right.
but also, like money, how to change what value, the value of commerce and math and how to make change. I mean, for real, I was 10, 11 years old. From that point on, I had always had an interest in food and cooking. I was, we didn't have cable growing up, so I was always watching PBS.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And it was, it was Jan Kan Cook and Julia Child and
Yeah.
The galloping
Frugal
gourmet.
Frugal Gourmet, and like that was what I just nonstop.
Yeah.
My mom was always like, "What the fuck is wrong with this kid?"
Yeah. For sure.
And they tried to kind of push me to that.
Cooking
yeah,
was
they
a big
did.
deal.
She was always like, "You're very interested." No, it wasn't in our family.
Oh, interesting.
I was from a family of 6, and I mean, we would eat dinner all the time together, but it wasn't like this sitting at the stove with my mom cooking type thing.
Yeah, interesting.
She was trying to make sure 4 kids stayed alive, and we were, animals, so it was not easy. for her. But
I know you have one sister, one brother. Who is the fourth?
I have an older brother as
An
well.
older brother.
Yeah.
Are you all? Because
is-
Tim is
yeah, Tim's
extremely
huge.
tall as well.
He's a twin. He's actually my younger sister and him are twins. He is 6'7".
Oh my God.
She's like 5'6".
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah, 5'6", blonde, blue eyed. He's 6'7", like
Brunette.
yeah, monster.
He's a big dude.
Like they're twins. Yeah. So we grew up, but every job I kind of had from that point on was food related, and I would be in. I worked at the movie theater, but I was doing concessions at the popcorn and the nachos and nacho cheese and all that stuff. But from that point on, went to a brew pub, and was like a bar back and worked in the front of house, worked in the bar, running food. Really like saw the kitchen, got to interact with them. Loved it.
Is this true that you worked at Cubby Bear?
Yeah.
Can you believe this?
Yeah.
I managed Cubby Bear for
shit.
for a few
When were you at
years.
Cubby Bear. And which one? The one up
up
North.
Lincolnshire.
Cubby Bear North, Lincolnshire. Yeah. So that was in probably, I was probably 16.
That's
What?
so
Yeah.
crazy.
So
yeah.
I was a food runner there, and then I interacted with the kitchen all the time because you're a food runner.
Yeah.
Saw the expediting process, saw how the restaurant worked, and
And then
then
opened Daisies 3 weeks later.
from that point on, for whatever reason, went to I played sports in high school and was kind of pursuing that, and then when I realized again that was not going to materialize to anything. I followed my friends that, my best friends that I've known since like kindergarten. They went to Northern Michigan University, stayed 2 years there, drank like crazy, but again, was working in restaurants there. I was working in a Chinese restaurant doing as a server. So I was the only job I've ever been fired from in my entire life.
Is that the one with the concert?
Yeah, the concert.
No, I guess that this one was straight
Second
fire.
job.
That
All
was,
right, so
that
let's
was
just
the
keep
that
a
was,
running tally going here.
Damn.
That was the only no call no show I did, and I guess so that was like purposefully. This was the only time I've ever not wanted to get fired, and I got fired from a job. So
Got it.
Why'd you get fired?
she said I was stealing tips because I
Like, how'd you know?
put it in my apron and clean the table and come
Yeah.
back, and she's like, "See ya." Okay. But always involved in restaurants. I spent 2 years there, left, came back to Chicago, and started working for one of my friends opened a pizzeria, and it was literally to go only. It was like one table,
Yeah.
and to this day, I still say it's probably the best pizza I've ever
Is
had.
it still around?
It's not. He has, I believe he opened another one. It was called Rita Pia's in Mundelein, and it was just like tavern style, thin crust, box cut, just
Yeah.
unfucking believably good.
Yeah.
Is there anything currently that you feel is on par with that?
With that, yeah, I mean, like the Vito and Nick's of the world, the pizzas are like Vito and Nick's. What's the one up here? Can't remember the name of it.
The one in Stickney.
Pequods?
No.
I'm not a Pigwads fan. Sorry,
No,
shouldn't say that.
Well, it's up here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chuck.
No, it's man, I eat it all. I was eating.
Is
it
it
all
a
the time.
tavern style? Like, are you talking about Barnaby's? or-
Barnaby's is great.
Okay.
Yeah, Barnaby's.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's
Have you
the
guys
one.
tried? what's the
No,
one-
Joe's Pizza in Wheeling is probably the closest.
Oh,
thing that
dude,
you
my
can get to
brother is
that.
crazy about. So I lived in Wheeling for
Yeah.
a while. When I was working at Cubby Bear.
Yeah.
So I lived. Joe's is right off of it's basically an off street of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I lived I could walk there in 5 minutes, and that's where we lived for.
Like that to
Joe's
me.
is good.
That Vito and Nick's, Joe's Pizza in Mundelein. There's a place called Paisanos up in Buffalo Grove that's very good.
Yeah, Paisanos.
There's like 17 Paisanos.
I know. They're
Same company?
No. So
the same names.
yeah. They
It's
just
like
have,
Ray's.
you'll see like one ends with a Z, one ends with two S's.
It's like the
one ends
Rays
with-
of New
it's like
York.
whatever.
Yeah. Ray's Pizza.
But basically, was working for him, and I was working for them for free. Honestly, I was just
okay.
hanging out with them because they're friends, and we were, they'd be smoking cigarettes in the kitchen, all sorts of stupid shit. But basically, just like that was the point in time that I realized, like, okay, I really want to pursue this as a career. Tried to get hired in kitchens. I was in culinary school at that time, right after that, and was trying to get hired. Before I went to culinary school, I was trying to get hired in kitchens, and no one would hire me. And was like, I'm going to go to school, enrolled, and because I had previous credits, it was kind of an expedited path. So it was just
nice.
cooking, and that's when I, just because of proximity, they were opening Osteria out in Wheeling, and I had, I was aware of the restaurant True. I was aware of Rick Tremano and Trotters and all the other things that were going on. So I was paying attention to that a little bit.
Yeah.
And when I'd seen that, Chef Tremonto was going to open a restaurant in Wheeling, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. It's a weird spot.
Yeah,
So
at that time. But it was like
Milwaukee
it was
Avenue,
10 minutes
and
from my house.
Lake Cook Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of having to, I knew that the best restaurants were in the city, and instead of having to drive to the city, where my culinary school was, I was like, this is great.
Where did you go to school?
Illinois Institute of Art in Chicago. So, but when I was, enrolled in school, I had applied. I was working at a golf course, and I did an interview over with actually Chris's girlfriend, who is his wife at the time, or whose girlfriend at the time, who's his wife now.
You got to get that.
She
one
was the
straight.
first person who interviewed me, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no
Lindsay
way.
used to cook too, right?
She was the executive chef. And so she had interviewed me. Jared Van Camp interviewed me. Mike Ponzio interviewed me. It was like a 5-stage interview process for some reason for a cook position. And
That's
they
a
gave me
lettuce thing. I feel like
They gave me a prep job. The
lettuce and
yeah, the lettuce
You've
and
had,
continue
you had
model.
a reputation.
what's that?
You had a reputation.
Yeah.
I feel like, will he show up for the
Yeah.
next interview? Let's
I
keep
mean,
that
for real. It was like it was being passed around to every single sous chef.
Right.
What the fuck is going on? So that was I'd started. I got that job as a prep cook. It was the first like professional kitchen that I had worked in with regiment, with not smoking cigarettes in the kitchen.
Yeah. Steal anything.
But it was
It's a massive space. So that must have been like for you. That must have been a big,
yeah.
like overwhelming almost because it's a massive fucking restaurant.
Yeah, well, it was my first time, and I had the luxury of starting that restaurant with them and being able to see that restaurant from the ground up, which was the previous place I was coming from was the small pizzeria where literally 3 people worked there.
Yeah.
And opening that restaurant and then coming over and seeing a restaurant where, I don't even know, 1,000 people work there.
I mean,
all-
honestly,
in all four restaurants.
if you add up all like the 3 of the businesses,
It was
there,
insane.
No, it was a lot of people. It was
Yeah.
good. They were
But
big
also
places.
in a hotel and
Yeah.
seeing all the people and the staff in the hotel on a daily basis. I mean, there was hundreds of
it's a
people. there.
brand new hotel too at the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Weston just built that. The restaurants were new.
100%.
The area was starting to really thrive, like Lincolnshire. You had the brew pub across the street from it too. That
Rams.
was Ram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was just kind of going crazy up
Yeah.
there in that corner.
So it was, but being inundated, seeing it from the opening as a prep cook in an opening restaurant, like no one gives 2 shits about you. So you're like buried in the kitchen and you're doing your own thing and you're kind of figuring it out as you go. And when you're opening a restaurant that's big, that is that large. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in. It was a lot, but I cannot tell you learned the amount of things that I learned from that process and being subjected to that. I think helped me later on when especially when we were opening Balina or a place that are similar sizes.
Right.
You try to make sure that those people are paid attention to. Like the one thing that I still to this day will remember is Lindsay would at beginning of a shift and end of the shift she would say hello and she would say goodbye. And she made sure she came over, shook your hand, and said, hi, welcome to work today, or it's good to see you. Thank you for doing. Took that away. So those things that you take away from those things.
And so, how long were you guys both at Osteria before you guys? So Bristol came about in 2008, right?
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy to me.
That's
Such a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah. I mean, essentially, I told Rick that I was going to move on and try to do something else. And then I told all the kitchen team, and a handful of folks there just kind of raised their hand and said, we're going to come with you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah.
Right? Like we had all been there since day one, and it had been a couple of years, and it was I mean, I don't think anyone saw the, impending financial crisis.
Right.
But, I took the summer off and got married and opened the Bristol September of 2008.
Just to jump back to Tremonto for just a moment. I mean, I've met the guy a couple times. He came and dined at my restaurant.
Sure.
Super humble guy, like just very under the radar.
He's pretty low key, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you guys? What's like the one thing you guys would take away from working under a chef like him?
You know, for me, it was about the autonomy that he gave me.
Oh,
you
really?
know, to give people the freedom to make choices, and then have the bumper bowling barriers to keep them in play. You know, but allow them to make mistakes and to fail as needed without any detriment to the business.
Okay.
That's so interesting to hear that now, because that's very much how you operate. I feel like
Very much.
right. Like I felt like from the beginning, I was given opportunities that I wasn't ready for. I was given autonomy. I was given, but at the same time, I always felt safe. I always felt like you had my back, and
Yeah, but you're responsible. You know, like there's people that, the kids that get a little more rope are the folks that you think are going to be, the ones that are responsible. And whether or not they want to be a chef or a restaurateur, none of that stuff matters. You know, it's more about like, do they want to grow themselves into something? Period. And if you do, then this is the lane that I play in. So
come
go for
on,
it. Yeah.
Joe, were you one of the guys that raised your hand?
Yeah, 100%. There was me, and there was I at that point I had I think I had even come back at that point. I had left there. I basically was prep cook, and somebody. I don't even know. I don't even know if I should tell the story, but my break in going to from the prep kitchen to line cook was somebody basically had to leave the line in the middle of a shift, and it was like
You got kicked off the line, or
he wasn't feeling well. He was sick,
Okay.
and so he got sent home, and basically they were like, "Hey, you in the back, dumb fucking tall kid, come over here and work the station." Probably, I honestly to this day I think it was because the broiler was like there was a double stack broiler, and I'm the only one who could fucking see inside of it. So, but my first shift ever was New Year's on a line by myself. Essentially, was New Year's Eve.
Holy
shit! I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never cooked a steak,
Yeah.
and I got this loudmouth kid next to me, Isaac, who's teaching. He was a sous chef at the time, so he's teaching me how to do all this stuff. But yeah, I had left there to go take I had been pulling his shirt sleeves all the time, and at that time, like my interaction with Chef Tremonto was very minimal at that point. As a prep cook, as a line cook, like I'm not spending any time with this individual. My time was spent with the sous chefs and the chefs in the restaurant, and him being, Chef Chris as the corporate executive chef. Is that what you were?
I don't know. Something like that.
So the head motherfucker in charge, essentially.
Yeah.
You wanted to spend as much time with this person as possible, so you're
Yeah.
kind of pulling on his shirt sleeves. Hey, teach me. So we had already developed a relationship at that point of, hey, I'll come in and show you how to butcher this salmon or break down these lobsters or extracurricular stuff that wasn't part of my daily shift, if you will.
Right.
Like we didn't have to be at work until 5 p.m. I would show up at like 11 a.m. Like, hey, teach me how to do this.
Yeah.
Left there, went to London to stage at a restaurant. Fat Duck was number 2. It was like in the world at that time. My interaction with Chef Tremonto was when I came back, and he kind of wanted to know everything that was going on. Hey,
okay.
you went over there? What's going on?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Was Heston Blumenthal there all the time?
He was there. He wasn't there all the time. He was in the middle of writing their book, so they were doing a lot of that research. But the people that I spent time with there, I still to this day talk to.
Yeah.
They're dispersed all over the world. So like that to me was the experience that was like, okay, showed you how high you can go, how disciplined. It's all discipline.
Yeah.
That coming back was and this guy would preach that stuff a lot from his experience with Balud. And there was no other restaurants really at that time in the city of Chicago that were executing at any level that I would see where I went to.
Yeah.
And so coming back, I kind of wanted more of that regiment, wanted more of that like discipline. I thrive on that kind of environment. And that was kind of like when he had said, "Hey, you know, I'm going to do this other venture." It's like, well, there's no way that I'll come work for free if I have to, because
Awesome.
I had seen that, you know, I mean, I basically did,
Yeah.
but I had seen that level of drive, desire, technique, like technical skill in this individual, and I wanted to kind of see more of that. And that was when, at that point, the guy, you know, me, Isaac, and this dude Gong, who worked with us. He was the sous chef with us as well. We all basically at the same time were like, "Cool, we're coming with you." Sorry.
And Chris, how did John and Phil, like, how did that whole thing happen?
So John was the GM at the steakhouse. And
Oh, no
he and
shit.
Phil were friends from a previous life. They wanted to open a restaurant, and John, they both kind of tapped me and said, you know, if you're interested, you know, you can
I didn't know John was a floor guy.
jump into this stuff.
No
So,
shit.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so what was that like? This is like your first restaurant, right? Like Bristol is.
Oh yeah, man.
You know.
I was a moron.
Yeah. What were some things that you were most excited about, and then what were some of the biggest lessons you've learned?
That's a really broad question. You know, I was excited to cook again.
Yeah.
In my previous job with Rick, I was very much an administrator.
Okay.
And this was, the challenge to me was telling myself that I still knew how to cook.
Yeah.
And I felt that I had a lot to prove to myself and to Chicago. And I wanted to make a little mark, and I wasn't really worried about, like, I wanted to make sure that the restaurant was delicious and it fit a neighborhood vibe, and that we could cook with some sort of freedom, meaning we were allowed to change the menu often, and working with small local producers, and just becoming more intimate with the entire process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Rick, it was vast. Everything was big, right? And so we scaled everything down to, you know, a 110-seat restaurant and tried to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, it was not easy. It was definitely a grind. I would say the biggest lesson that I would say is communication and humility.
I love that.
You know, learning when to slow down, learning when to give your staff a break, learning when to give yourself a break. You know, I burned myself out there.
Yeah.
After about 2.5 years, I was toast.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
I feel like guys like you unfortunately paved the way for guys like me and Andy, that like we've learned that early on, I think, you know, in our careers, just grinding it out. But like as an owner, new owners, we've kind of taken, you know, your lead and other people in the past. And I feel like I think it's just spoken about more, right? I think in the years past, for decades, I'm sure chefs out there is just like, this is what we do, and we grind it out.
You know, I came from a place of I don't even know how to explain this the right way, but it was hard. Like the job as a line cook when I was coming up was difficult and, you know, slightly unpleasant for a lot of reasons.
Slightly being an understatement of
but you know, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, this is my position, this is what I want to do, I want to be the best of the best, and you know, you kind of put your head down and grind through it. And now it's the opposite. Now it's like, how can I take better care of everyone that's standing next to me at all times?
Yeah.
You know, to improve their lives, to improve their wherewithal, their education, their technique. Like, all the work stuff is great, but like, you know, if you're not all there and you're not present and you're not able physically or mentally, it's like, it's not worth it, you know? So I think we've all had kind of a reckoning in a very positive way, and I've calmed down a whole lot. And for the better. I think becoming a father is a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
You know, personally speaking, but you know, it's.
Was there like a switch that happened when you had your first child? And
Oh yeah, totally. And it's not immediate, but like you start to reckon with some things about your own personal health, your own longevity. You know, like, and you look at, okay, if my kid is in this position, how would I want folks to take care of him or her?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you lose a lot of ignorance really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, and overly appreciate the folks that are willing to sacrifice with you, alongside of you, for you, et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah.
you know, it's like you can't give back often enough, but you can be grateful, and you can tell people often that you're grateful. So
Both of you had your second kids in your first restaurant, right?
well, they weren't born in the restaurant.
Well, not physically inside the.
yeah, they were both born in hospitals. You know,
But like the
I don't know where you think we are.
I don't know what white people do, but the challenges of running your first project and raising a family. Like, how did you guys manage? Because running is one thing for us. It's like we don't have time.
Yeah.
I mean, from my perspective and knowing them so well, both of our spouses come from the industry, and I think that
There's a lot of understanding.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Patience and understanding is what it takes to
and
be a partner
super,
with.
super strong partners.
Right.
I mean, not only from the industry, but you know, I can definitely speak about my wife, and she is the strongest human being.
Resilient.
And same with Jenna. I mean, like they're champions.
And Jenna was in the kitchen or in the front?
No, she was so at the Bristol. I met her at Bristol. I was the first employee they hired. She was the first front of house employee they hired.
She was a server.
Well, yeah, server. She was the first server that they hired. So I was working like garde manger and nonstop.
That's crazy.
Hitting on this person. So
That doesn't happen in restaurants.
no,
That's
it's like baiting her
crazy.
with cheesecake on a daily basis.
Yeah,
So,
the
like,
biggest guy
here's a cheesecake
hits on the
cuttings.
smallest girl.
Yeah, she's 5'1". I'm
Oh my God.
6'5".
Yeah.
So I want to jump back here real quick. So first 4 years of the Bristol, obviously you guys had some success. I mean, in 4 years, you guys managed to start the new project and opened up Balina, right? Andy, you're not in the picture yet at this time, right?
I think as
When did you start?
right before Balina opened.
Okay.
Yeah. So Joe had just left, and then I came in.
So Balina was like Joe. That was like your big stepping stone.
Yeah, I had went. Chris traded me to Paul Veron's.
That's right. You went to
2011,
Perennial Veron for a little bit.
I want to say 2010, 2011. He basically came up to me and was like, dude, Paul's looking for people at the restaurant. I think everyone at that time knew that my time with the Bristol
Hey, you've done everything.
was over. There was nowhere else for me to go. There was
I love that.
I was searching constantly to being pushed. I was probably pushing people too hard. And it got to the point where it was like, hey, I need to learn a new skill set. I had done stages with Paul for a long time. Somebody that I really, really, looked up to. This food is the way he runs his operations from a empathetic standpoint for his staff.
How was it different from Chef?
Much looser, much in terms of kind of attitude, just laid back. Not to say, like Chris is an extremely laid back individual, and everything was where service and would like to have a good time, but you knew.
Had to be right.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Right,
I think a lot of it was the fixation on standards and technique, and making sure that the simplicity of the food that we were doing, and making sure everything hit. And not to say Paul didn't focus on those things. I think it was just a different way, as opposed to Chris motivating you by burying you with work and sheer just like get it done. Paul would be air guitaring in the corner for half of service while making. In the best possible way. Like the environment that he had created was one that everybody felt part of, kind of involved in, and definitely like way laid back. But it was conducive to creativity and in a way where everybody was kind of like relaxed. Now sometimes,
It's not.
too relaxed
Yeah.
and things got a little too much fun, but there was a great way to see like how, and it shows in the longevity of the individuals that worked for him. It was
Right.
like, I think Dan Compton's been there for 12 years.
Yeah.
as their
Insane.
chef de cuisine right now. So it's like, and that he just the chefs that you have these longevity of people working for you. It's like
important.
Yeah.
It seems like for both of you guys in the operations you guys have started, there's a sense of community and culture there. And I guess, how does that, play in for you guys, and why is that so important for you?
I mean, from the community standpoint, it's the whole point of, I lived where I opened the restaurant up was part of, I lived in the same neighborhood. I lived in the neighborhood since 2007 when I was working at the Bristol, and I had moved once. And I wanted the restaurant that I wanted, I wanted in the neighborhood. I wanted to be part of the community. I wanted to be a neighborhood restaurant. A lot of the things, the Bristol for me was such a formative part of my career. I wanted to kind of continue that in my own way as well. There's a lot of similarities that you'll draw from the restaurant space, the equipment, the way we built it, and being a part of that neighborhood and seeing the amount of people that would come in from the neighborhood, the community that would embrace it, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Like even to this day, we've got we've been open for 4 years. We've got a handful of families that are there every Friday or every Saturday with their kids. And I'm watching their kids grow up in the restaurant. Their kids are the same age as my kids. So like that was really an important part. My relation, getting to know Jason Hamill from Lula. He's right around the corner from us, and he's involved us in charity events and the importance of community, and that has made an impact on us, our staff. But I think it's really, for a restaurant that's our size, it's only a 60-seat restaurant in a neighborhood, it's really important to be a member of the community and kind of do everything you can to help out everybody else in the neighborhood as much as you can. We do charity events and things like that.
Yeah.
When did you guys open the doors of Daisies?
June 6th, 2017.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, by the way. It's a fantastic restaurant. I've been there so many times now, and every time. I just saw that you put the tomato dish back on.
Yeah.
I actually read, reading up on you a little bit, that there was a grilled cheese and tomato sandwich that was a huge impact in your life.
That I think, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it was the first time I ever noticed food.
Okay.
Could be something that was the same but different. Like it was the first time I noticed the components of food. How about that?
Interesting.
Because forever you're presented the same thing on a and it was my dad who made it. But it's like you eat grilled cheese and the same thing. Grilled cheese is a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
But then dad throws a curveball because he's doesn't know what he's doing. But in terms of the routine of what your kids, I see it in my kids all the time. It's like they want to eat the same stuff, and we're pushing them to other things. But it was that realization of like, this is different, but so good. And I specifically remember like getting a notebook, writing the recipe down. It changed. That was the first time I noticed.
I had a very similar experience with In-N-Out. I was in California.
That was your food epiphany?
And it was like the tomato was it's so good inside of the burger, right? Like everything else was fine, but the tomato like really stuck out to me. And I remember immediately texting chef about it. I was like, "Where do we get these tomatoes?" And then his response was, "Go fuck yourself."
The In-N-Out tomato.
Yeah, it was. These tomatoes are incredible. Like,
I want to
California for you.
Shipped into California. Yeah.
I want to mention that. So, like, you guys both working together for so long. Chris, you went on. It's like kind of like a different route for you, right? I mean, so Joe kind of goes back to the neighborhood restaurant. Chris, now you've got this little empire that's starting here between downtown, Swift and Sons and CIRA, and
Northside.
you've got Northside Tavern, the Swift and Sons Tavern up there. What is the challenges of trying to set that same community and culture in all of your stores, but being so spread apart? Like, I mean, that's got to be right.
It's the people. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with. It's all about who we hire and how well we can try to train them and indoctrinate, some sense of responsibility and having faith in each other and trying to do the right thing. You know, it's like Swift is a giant restaurant. CIRA is a pretty large restaurant. The Tavern's a large restaurant. So it takes a lot of human beings to run those places. And I can't be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here with you guys right now, and they're open, you know? So it's like a lot of trust, it's a lot of faith. And like I said before, it's like you have to believe in the people you've trained.
Yeah.
You know, and give them the responsibility and the opportunity to do their stuff. You know, like someone gave that to me, and it benefited my future and my trajectory and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, why wouldn't I try to provide the same thing for the collective?
Right.
Right? Just because it's 3 big restaurants versus a small neighborhood joint. You know, the neighborhood joint was you know, the best time cooking of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing that will ever replace that. But now it's, you know, I've got a family. I want to be able to send my kids to college, you know, and I want to be able to provide careers for, like I said, all the people that are working with me. It's like, if they want to move on and do stuff, I want to provide them with the education of how to run a business as well as how to cook and learn technique, et cetera,
Right.
you know, to get to whatever the next level for them is, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of which, right? I mean, Andy came walking in your doors. What year was this? 2000.
2011, 2012, something like
probably.
that.
Yeah.
Was there something specific that you saw in him at the time? I mean, you saw this, you know, this guy grow quite a bit.
Yeah, he said, I want to learn. Like, he was point blank about it. He's like, I don't know, you know, my ass from my elbow as far as cooking's concerned. You know, I know some stuff, but, you know, I will work. And he did. And he put his head down and you know, was never not in the right place. You know, he always kind of was a natural at knowing where to be, how to be there, you know, and how to process. And when he hit a wall or had a question, he knew the right questions to ask. And he did it all with a ton of humility. So, yeah, they get your attention.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome. Andy, maybe you can share a little bit. Like, what was it like?
I was just scared every single day of walking into. It was such an intimidating place to be in, right? Like cooks, especially at the Bristol, they were extremely aggressive. They were very, very, very arrogant and driven, and like all very tall for some reason. But yeah, I was just intimidated every day, and you know, I learned very quickly that it's what separates me from them is not, you know, it's not much. It's just like I had to learn some skills and some technique, and at the end of the day, once I learned that, it's like I feel like I'm a better person than these guys. You know, like I'm nice to people, and that was the difference. And I think, even like meeting Joe earlier on and knowing that he worked with Chris for a long time, it was like he was that type of person, not the asshole type, but like you extended your hand, like you were very, very kind from the get-go to me. And I heard horror stories about you, so I was like, what's going on? Like, you know, but it doesn't add up. But yeah, I it's like as long as I can continue to keep my head on straight and continue to try and stay as humble as possible and just keep learning. Even at this stage, it's something we talk about at work all the time, right? It's like, I'm not done learning. You know, you're not done learning.
Right.
Like we're, whatever stage we're in, we're still infants here, you know, and then the next step is going to be the same thing. So I just kept that attitude, and I don't know, somehow things kept working out.
Yeah. I've known Andy for a long time, and so when I, you know, I was when I came to the Bristol, I left management. It was just personal shit going on in my life. I just was like, I told my boss, my mentor, I'm like, I'm just not in a place to be smiling on the floor and shaking hands. So I'm like, I want to just kind of go back and do some shit. So Andy was, you know, nice enough to extend an opportunity and work there, and that was the first time I met you. And the one thing I'll never forget, the impression you made on me the most, I forgot we were in the middle of fucking service, you know, shit was going down, probably brunch. And I think I was probably in the weeds. And I remember I was like communicating to somebody, and you just kind of came up, you're like, hey, could could you keep it down in my kitchen a little bit? And, you know, it's just not something I was used to, right? The culture that I've come from, like the kitchen's a loud place. And it was just, it made an impact on me though. It was like, this is, it spoke volumes to who you were as a leader and the type of business, you know, operation you were running. And it was a tremendous amount of, like, for me, it was a huge like thing for me. I was like, holy shit. Okay. Like,
Gotta stay calm.
Yeah, right.
Gotta
You
stay
know,
calm.
and it's not it's just not an environment where you can. That's another thing to juggle, which it that's what kind of really dawned on me. I was like, okay, like we can't just be like the wild circus behind the curtains, right? You got to like keep this shit together, you know, behind the scenes too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Focus and composure and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Even if the guests can't see you, you know, you can't stay organized. There's
Right.
no way.
But Gorman's such the opposite. I mean, can I?
Yeah, Gorman's loud.
Yeah, I mean, Gorman would pop his head out into the hallway and be like screaming hands while I'm taking an order at that table right at the end. You
That's
know, I'm
true.
just like, all right.
It's like, can I finish?
Where-
taking
I'm like,
this order?
where's Chef? Awesome. So you guys did so Balina. Man, rest in peace. I love that restaurant. I don't know. I actually never heard the story of what really happened. I mean, it was a fire
It caught on fire.
Burned down.
Yeah,
and
burned
no insurance, or I don't know. Why did it just never come back? I mean, I guess.
down. We weren't able to afford to reopen it.
Okay.
It was not in the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, beautiful space.
Balina was magical.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Such a beautiful dining room.
awesome. Yeah.
Food was
It's a great
amazing.
restaurant.
It was and it's you too, right? Like, so it was like the Bristol, I feel like in the, you know, first 4 years was obviously getting all these accolades and, you know, one of the best restaurants in the country. And then you guys did it again at Balina.
Right. They got nominated for. You guys got nominated for James Beard Award, correct? It was there was a nomination for it.
Yeah. I don't really remember. Which it might
It
have
says-
been like design.
Yeah, best new
No,
restaurant,
yeah, it was-
2013 James Beard.
I don't know.
I was. I don't know.
I
have no idea.
I'm not
We'll
good
leave it at that.
no
We'll give.
idea.
We're
Well,
just gonna say that
my-
it is.
I
I
think
vaguely remember
you
something.
guys do like such great work together, you know? So it's like, is there any desire to try and do something, collaborate on something, or?
Oh man, it's funny. We've tried in the past. Before he was even in, going to
Boka.
to Boka. Well, it was before he was going to Open Swiftons.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. We've talked about it forever, and who knows?
Yeah.
I'll never say no to anything, but we always worked really well together. It was, and I feel like the older that we were getting,
The easier it was.
for sure. And my career could have taken a drastically different turn. And honestly, I had left Balina prior to the fire and all the rest of the stuff, so that didn't even end it for me. But so I made that conscious choice on my own decision.
Where did you go after Balina?
I took a year off. I literally got married, went on my honeymoon to Costa Rica. It was probably the first time in 5 years that I had a vacation.
Holy shit!
Where it was more than
a
not
couple
going
days
to a
off.
wedding or not going to
Yeah.
something where there's an agenda. It was the first time in probably since the Bristol had opened that I had taken more than a week to not do anything.
Yeah.
So like laying on a beach in the middle of nowhere, Costa
Mm-hmm.
Rica.
Yeah.
I basically decided like, hey, like this is fun.
Too good.
This is awesome.
I came back and I was burnt out. Like he said, it was 3 years of just intense cooking.
Yeah.
From 2008, intense lifestyle, to be honest with you, because it's not just cooking. It was like you're going out until 4 a.m, drinking every night, and there was a game that we used to play at the Bristol. It was like, let's see how late we could go out and drink and still perform at the level that we would perform at the next day, and it was just destructive and
That's crazy.
hard living,
Yeah.
and even at Balina, where you put into a leadership position, and having to navigate that and figure out how to, you look up to the Paul Verance and Chris who have retention, and figuring out why that is, and trying to figure out and navigate that leadership role of yourself, and really learning, the empathy and the things that go past that. Now, our personalities work really well. I would, like I said, I would never not do anything in the future, but there's nothing in the future that we've ever talked about anytime soon. I'm too old to sit here and
busy.
I'm too old to sit here and run around doing the things that we used to do. It would be, I always joke about having like a restaurant right down the street from my house.
Are there
like
ever
a strip mall with that has no it's just like a pizzeria. Nobody knows who owns it, and it's just like two
old turds.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like just open it, have other people run it, and nobody knows anything about
love
it.
it,
But it's
man.
just like, damn, the pizza's really good there. you don't know what.
Steve Zelinsky shows up.
Yeah, no, we
There you go.
came close. We came close to doing some things, but I think family stuff got in the way. Like he says, he's got 2 kids and needs to take them to college. It's like I've got 3 children now, and I have 3 children now, and I have
my
Oh, you had a
God.
daughter.
60-seat restaurant to pay for all of it, and it's like. You have to make this, what is the next step to get to the point where, like, these restaurants don't pay tons of money. They don't.
Right.
And that's where, like,
which I think is finally starting to come out.
Yeah, going to a restaurant, or, like, I never would have left. I loved working for Boka Restaurant Group. That's when it's like, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I might work, if this goes south, I might work for him in the future. That's the first place I would go, like 100%. I would go back and work for him. So who knows? But
Yeah.
but those are the those decisions get in the way of family life, and family decisions get in the way of career aspirations.
Stability is a big word.
Huge.
Yeah.
And
You know?
so that from you mentioned earlier, like I had my first kid 4 weeks before we opened the restaurant, and it's like
That's insane.
that impacts your I straight up was like, for 2 years,
Yeah.
I'm going to go as hard as I can, and then I need to find someone to help me do this from here on out.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where that retention comes in. Like he
Yeah.
works, working at a place like Swift and Sons, and in the Boka Restaurant Group, you can it's much easier to retain employees in the system because there's lateral movement where they
Right.
can advance their careers. With
Yeah.
us, it's like, there's nowhere else you're going.
Yeah.
You're already the chef de cuisine. You're already going to be the executive. Like, what's the next step for that?
Yeah, yeah.
Partnership, et cetera. But that means then I have to go do whatever else it is
Yeah.
to make, for mine. So for us, like the retention, of employees has been so challenging.
Yeah.
And, who knows the future?
What are
I'll be working at Swift and Sons in no time.
what are some ways that you guys like remind yourselves, like what are some practices you guys put in place to kind of keep that balance, that work-life balance?
There's no such thing. The word balance does not exist. That's not a real.
It's a
conversation.
pursuit of balance.
It's a pursuit of sanity.
Right.
And as I've gotten a little bit older, and my kids are older now, they're not teenagers yet, but they're not infants either.
Yeah.
Realizing what your personal impact is as a father on them, and I've trained tons of cooks and tons of sous chefs and tons of whatever. It's like the amount of hours that I could calculate that went into that versus the time into my 2 sons. It's just that's out of balance.
Right.
So now, as a 42-year-old man, it's like, all right, I need to figure out how to be present for my kids.
Yeah.
And if that means, leaving at 8 o'clock from service and getting home and be able to put them to bed and read them a bedtime story or whatever the conversation is, or go to their Little League games or whatever that is, it's like realizing that your importance as a boss isn't necessarily about being in the restaurant all the time.
Yeah.
And realizing that it's okay to not be there on a Friday evening if things are lined up correctly. If you've done your job to train people correctly, and they're responsible. It's okay to walk away and go do something else that that means just as much to me personally.
Right.
Which was the sacrifice for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Was that nothing else was ever present in my life except for work.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that's the slow lesson to start to swallow
Yeah.
over time. And I preach that to everyone who works with me now. It's like, listen, like, you know, they hate when I say this, but like, you don't have to be a martyr for the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. Like, do critical thinking about how you're setting your days and your weeks up, how you're training your compatriots and everything else, and like, use your brain.
Yeah.
Just you're all smart people. Like, it's, but it's always a grind, right? Like, it's a restaurant. Like, it's a friend of ours used to say it's a problem-making machine, right? Like,
I love that.
There's always something wrong every
Right.
single day, every single hour, and it's 24-hour cycle. Your freezer's down, you know, cook calls out sick, whatever the situation is, right?
Right.
So you're dealing with that constant onslaught of stress. At some point in time, you just have to realize that is ever present.
Yeah.
And it's not
constant.
going to go away.
Yeah.
And if you can deal with it,
Yeah.
right, you train other people how to deal with it and stay calm, that you can find a way to be present with the rest of your life also.
I love that.
That's great.
So
That's great. I mean, I feel like we just touched on this yesterday too, and I think, you know, you bringing back to light, just constantly. I think a lot of us are always dealing with the, you know, the negativity and the challenges and adversities we face at work every day. So it's like for me, I tell Andy, I always try to bring good news to him. Like that's one thing I'll, you know, when he's on the expo and he's, you know, he can't see what's happening in the dining room. I try to make it a point almost as often as I can to go back to him, not with like just, hey man, we got a situation here, but hey man, these people really are having a great time
Yeah.
tonight. Like these people, and I'll just, you know, and I know he's juggling tickets and orders and calls, but I'll just be like, hey, I just want to let you know, like people are having a fucking awesome time tonight in the dining room.
yeah, you know, we're all students of instant gratification, right? Like
Right.
that's why, like, you know, Joe's neighborhood restaurant where he sees the same families every Friday night, like that's mojo. You know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah, it
that
is,
makes
yeah.
you feel good, right? So it's a very easy for us all to be negative. That was I'll say it. That's like the old culture, right? It's like grind it out, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Cook, service. And now it's like, you know what? Are the guests having a good time? Are they actually enjoying themselves?
Right.
Are the cooks enjoying themselves? Are they happy at work? Like are the dishwashers okay?
Right.
Have they eaten yet? Like way broader of a mindset of
Yeah.
like,
I love
okay,
that. Yeah.
this is not selfish. This is not me doing it. This is the collective effort
Right.
to make sure that these folks are you know, who's coming, they're spending their hard-earned money also,
Right.
show up and they have a great time.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all that matters. You're there to take care of them.
Yeah.
And you can't lose sight of that either. So
At the end of the day, Tim and Jeannie really put it well. They were just like from Kasama. They're like, Tim was saying, at the end of the day, like someone's life is not in my hands. Like I am
yeah, we're
cooking
making
food.
dinner, man. We're making
It's
dinner.
like we're cooking food and serving food to people. So like,
Yeah.
you know, just use that. And I just when I heard that from him, it was like again another great fucking reminder to all of us in this business that the ones that are just losing our minds over it sometimes.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
Yeah, take a breath. We're serving food. No one's life is in our hands here, so it's pretty great to see. I want to talk about anything in the pipeline for you guys. Daisies is just killing it right now. Honestly, I've been hearing such amazing things from all of my friends that go there. They are regulars of your restaurant, and that's a testament of any good place. The people that just keep coming back. So, what are you guys currently working on? You want to talk about the market a little bit?
Yeah, so, you know, the past year and a half has been fairly challenging.
Just a little bit.
With, you know, the COVID and everything that's gone down, the restaurant has a relationship with my brother, who has his own farm in Michigan now. And so he supplies us with a ton of produce, which is kind of what the restaurant's theme, if you will, kind of focuses around the Midwest. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough to learn a lot about Italian cuisine. And so we cook with that philosophy of like what's in season, what's around you, finding the best ingredients you can possibly find and preparing them as simply as you possibly can. And it's basically us applying that philosophy to products from the Midwest. Now, not everything comes from here, et cetera, but having this relationship with my brother has kind of pushed the theme of the restaurant to, farm to table, if that's what you want to go to, but which is, again, kind of an extension of what I was cooking when we were at the Bristol was very meat-centered, very meat-focused, farm still related, everything we, to the detriment of everyone's who worked there, changing the menu on, too many times and cooking through animals and learning all these things and techniques. And now it's applying them to, produce as kind of, we have this great resource, we're going to use this great resource. Yeah. When all this stuff went down, it was, March, and my brother had just started planting and just started getting things to be able to in the ground, and once they came to fruition and needed a place to go, because all that money had been spent, all that time had already been, kind of spent as well, and so you're not going to lose all their crops. And at that time, it was May. We had just reopened the restaurant as like a to-go only, but what we were seeing was that people were having a hard time getting access to food. People were having a hard time getting access to, all sorts of things, toilet papers, and, whatever it was. But my brother also was stacking produce that had nowhere to go. Restaurants were closed. Every single client he had was not taking anything.
Yeah, it's fucked.
So we opened, we basically looked at the laws and the who could operate with what licenses, and we had a license that said we're basically a grocery store. Yeah. So we operated as one, as opposed to, saying we were a restaurant, we're a business. Yeah. And we opened it up. It was, and basically turned the entire dining room into like a market where vendors would come. Klug Farm came to sell her fruits. My brother was there to sell his vegetables, things like that. But also people around the neighborhood, like Trent from Catalpa Grove was selling lamb, but people from the neighborhood were coming to sell their products as well, because their businesses had just kind of taken a smack as well. Like Yura cookie,
which are fucking delicious, by the
so
way.
Good. And
I didn't know they were gluten free.
Yeah, they're insane.
I devoured it. I was like, "What the fuck? This is a gluten free cookie?"
Yeah, and she was
so good.
She was pastry chef, and she was working towards this business and getting it open, and like this happened at the exact same time.
God.
So it's like, here, whatever you can do to get your name out there. Now she's crushing it. Yeah, crushing it right now.
Yeah, big shout out to Yura Cookie, because that stuff is delicious.
What you guys did over there?
Well,
with the small businesses.
Yeah, it's like what else?
Grocery.
We the easiest thing would have been to just close. And save us the entire year of whatever. But it was, when it came back to it was like, all right, there's people who rely on us for their livings as well, just as we rely on the public, for our living. And I cannot tell you the amount of phone calls to small independent purveyors that provide us our produce, our seafood, our vegetables, cheeses, that were just like desperate. Yeah. And having those conversations and doing everything we can and buying more than we probably should have at that time to help them out in any way you can, and then the public's pouring things into us. And so like that showed me, for us, we were a 5-night per week dinner only restaurant. We had one, we added a brunch service, but we were open like 30 hours a week, and we're still paying rent, as if we were there all the time. So we had to figure out how to monetize everything we possibly could. The grocery store brought people to the location, and then we started talking, with other people. We brought in lunch, which is on a hiatus right now, just because we wanted to focus on dinner and getting that back open. It will return, and we basically started like a grocery deli sandwich situation, and rocketed, in terms of business and support in the neighborhood.
And sandwiches are delicious, man.
I think Josh from Honey Butter was like, that you're spending too much on sandwiches, man. They're too good. You're not charging enough. Your ingredients are too good.
Yeah.
But it was that. It was like we don't, at that time, there was no sandwich really options in the neighborhood outside of a couple small places in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we felt like it was something that was conducive to eating it, in your car, at home, wherever you are, in your office, wherever that may be.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was propelled the restaurant, and then the things. Then we started coming up with all sorts of ideas of like, the holidays and Thanksgiving and meal kits and
meal
things
kits.
and all of that. So it was like we were very fortunate to already be working with a lot of people who allowed us our website provider just had a lot of this stuff built in for them, and we just flipped switches and we're like, this is amazing. So we were able to like really pivot and navigate this pretty quickly. But now it is turning into, there is plans in the future to kind of expand on these things.
That's awesome.
Because you have to, if anything that we've learned, we've had to diversify our income and where it's coming from. And even like right now, I schlep my ass to the Green City Market every Saturday at 5 a.m. to sell wholesale pasta to the people at the Green City Market.
Really?
That's awesome.
And it's like,
Where's the Green City Market for anyone that's listening? That
Lincoln Park.
Okay.
It is in it's at like what,
like
North
Clark and
Avenue,
North,
Clark and
yeah.
North. So it allowed us to, I bought a van, I bought a tent, and we branded ourselves, and now you're in a neighborhood that you're not normally in, and you're getting attention from that neighborhood, and it's just been one thing after another of like, how do we get as many people as we possibly can to know what we're doing first and foremost,
Exposure.
but then all these different revenue streams. And so it's like we're producing pasta that people are taking by the pound to their houses. We're producing sauces that they're taking, and it's all produced out of this 60-seat restaurant with
That's insane.
a 10-foot hood. So it's been that and the desire, especially we've found a core group of individuals that are working with us who've been here for now a couple years. We have a staff of individuals in our front of house who've been here since day one. And it's like these individuals who are trying to kind of empower and give responsibility, and allows me to then go and pursue these other avenues of like, hey, let's open a sandwich shop, or hey, let's open a grocery store, whatever it may be down the line here, or wholesale. Like we get so many inquiries from wholesale distribution for pasta.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Well, it's great, but you want to do it all, and
Yeah,
we can't run that fast right now. It's like, hey, even restaurants in the suburbs will contact us, or other restaurants in the city, and be like, hey, we have, 3 pastas on our menu. Can you produce those pastas for us to serve on our menus?
Wow.
So it's
That's awesome.
that desire, and that we see a need of like, okay, we have to run our ass off to get to the point where we can provide these things, and that's how we can diversify and make a 60-seat restaurant into something that I can send 3 children to college with.
if anyone out there's got a nice commissary kitchen to loan to
For
Joe,
sure.
this
Yeah,
is it.
hey,
This is the next move for you
we
guys,
are
though,
looking-
man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
For
And
sure.
It makes a total sense. So much sense with your brother in the farm.
For sure.
Just so it'd be awesome to see that.
I got the next 20 years laid out, and none of it's going to go to plan, but it's there.
It never does.
Yeah.
Do we want to dive into your love for music and hip hop?
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, please. I always found it so interesting. You're always obsessed with the Beastie Boys.
What was
Tribe.
the first time where you fell in love with hip hop?
I don't even know.
There wasn't a thing.
No, not really. I mean, like, really, like, either like listening to Paul's Boutique and trying to figure out where all that music came from. Because the Beastie Boys went from whatever License to Ill was, that goofy first album, and then they went bananas and did Paul's Boutique, and it was like lots of cutting and all the samples and everything else. And it's like, okay, they didn't make any of that music. They just kind of put it back together. And then you start to go into, okay, that's a sample from Lee Scratch Perry. Who's that? And then you go into, dub reggae, and you start to explore that. And it's like just these crazy branches start to show up. And it's like, okay, you get back into old punk, and you get back just the layers and layers and layers. And that was, I would say that's kind of the beginning of why or where my interest in music came from.
When is this? Like
I don't know.
or late 60s?
Oh man, I was probably like 12, 13 years old. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. I was a young kid.
Yeah.
I have zero musical talent.
Yeah.
Let me start there.
You
Like
used to
zero.
DJ, right?
Yeah, but not well. And I took piano lessons and I could play Yankee Doodle, but
Yeah.
that's it.
I
It's like
I still remember my first cassette single I ever bought was Lords of the Underground. That was,
like,
and that's when you had fucking sleeves, cassettes inside sleeves. I can't believe today that like we would buy that for one fucking track. You know, like the production that went into
or do the double tape deck recording.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
anything off the
making
radio.
mixtapes.
Thank you. Yeah, all that garbage. You know,
What is if you had to throw like let's say three, not to put so much pressure on this, three of your favorite artists, bands. I know, just like first three that come to mind that you're like, if you were on an island, you
Who
could
I
get by
couldn't-
with
couldn't
these
live without?
albums. Yeah, these albums, like
I
three
would
albums.
I would say the entire Raucous Records collection.
Okay.
You start there and I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't need three. I just need that. That recording session from the early '90s is, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Pharoah Monch, the East Coast All Stars, all those goofy bastards. Like
Yeah.
that's what I fell in love with, and that's what I listen to, and I love.
So mostly East Coast rather than. I mean, like I'm
But
sure.
there's like the Far Side, and then there's the whole
Right.
like DJ Shadow plus. I'm blanking out here. Help me out. No.
I don't know.
Total
Pizza.
brain fart. I don't know
I'm
pizza.
not the guy to answer any of these questions.
Latyrix. All the Oakland-based
Oh wow.
stuff. Jesus.
Awesome.
Whatever.
I can't.
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just always found it interesting, like, because you don't seem like you don't look like the type that just super.
Now, Chris,
I'm being
Chris
judgmental,
knows
obviously,
his
but
shit, though,
yeah,
man.
but that's crazy. Like, I was always like, how do you know all of that? Like,
Yeah.
and it goes so deep. Like everything you just mentioned right now, it's like,
Yeah. The guy you needed for that question is actually right
Oh.
here.
there you go.
This is
We're talking about.
Oakland hip hop.
Okay.
DJ Shadow produced a whole bunch of albums for Latyrix, Latif the True Speaker. Who else?
We couldn't add. We
I
couldn't.
can't
add-
think of what they called themselves.
Ooh, I don't know. I'm Chi-Town Ride or Die if it's not.
it's all about.
I could just look it up on my Spotify. It would take 2
man.
seconds.
Let's dive into this pizza, guys. We have we always do like a little food review. Pizza being the easier one, we're gonna do a criteria of flavor, little crust on this one, and value. That's what we're gonna do. The scoring system is pretty simple. We like to keep it easy. It's 1 through 5. No decimals. I always say digits. No decimals. So, and also keep in mind that you don't have to be super nice about this. We're trying to keep it as honest as possible. And if it sucks, man. But today we're
What'd you guys
gonna
get?
do a little tavern style pizza.
This is Dino's. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. They've been around since 1968, apparently.
There it is, 1968. It is 7004 West Higgins Street. So where is it? Is this Jefferson Park or
This is Jefferson Park, yeah.
Jeff Park?
But
Okay.
Yeah, they're known for the tavern style as well. So
It looks good.
thought it would be
So we usually ask for their signature, but it looks like we've got half cheese, half
pepperoni.
jalapenos.
Oh, this pepperoni.
Oh, it's pepperoni. Okay.
All right,
Jalapenos.
go ahead.
You can
dig
have
in.
that.
Yeah. Why don't you guys dig in?
Polish guy in the corner giving him jalapenos. This is amazing.
It's a bad idea.
You don't like jalapenos?
He's like,
I
the
like
worst
jalapenos.
heat tolerant individual. I love that.
Oh, we should try and get Chef on hot ones.
Yeah, that'd be. Do you guys watch that? You guys know about that at all?
No.
You guys don't know that? Okay.
Is that a
It's
TV? I
it's
don't
just an
watch-
interview show on YouTube, and they eat 10 spicy wings. It gets gradually spicier as it goes on, and during the interview, they get asked some serious questions. So I gotta ask too. Do you guys always, with tavern style? Do you guys like to go into the? Do you guys prefer no crust or crust on the?
I like the corner crust.
Yeah,
Corner
the
crust.
triangles are the best.
Triangle all day.
Why?
I don't know why. I think the ratio is just good on it. It's
'Cause
just
it's
like
cracker
like-
crust.
it's like a cracker, a little cheese, little thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just-
The middle's just too much shit.
I just always thought like I'm getting the most value in the middle.
yeah.
I'm losing money with this bread over here.
That's the
how you're
Korean.
evaluating the pizza.
That's the Korean and Andy's. Like that's cost the most.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with the triangle. That's the one I eat before. You know, you put out a pizza for everyone. You're like, let's try the triangle. That's like, you know,
We would always have to.
that's where you start.
I would always have to pick our pizzas up because we would never get delivery. 'Cause parents would never.
Oh, really?
Never had delivery. In my
They wouldn't
house.
allow
No,
it,
they're
or-
too cheap to do that. So
That's so good.
we would always pick it up. By the time the pizza got home, the four corners were always missing.
I love that.
Smart.
Oh, I do usually eat it.
I'm picking it up.
outside in.
Fucking
Oh
eat
yeah,
the
I
pieces.
definitely eat the corner in the car. That's a classic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the delivery fee. You know, if you're picking it up for the Frillmans.
The middle for me is always usually too soggy. If you can get them and they're not too soggy, that means it's a very good pizza.
But value-wise, if you're trying to stuff your face and you're like, everyone gets two pieces, I'm gonna get that fatty in the middle.
Yeah.
Fold it up.
I'm not so keen on hearing myself chew on this microphone.
It's great.
We'll edit that.
It's like being it's a thing now. It's like people have been listening to
ASMR.
to us eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little ASMR.
Trying to get in there.
I learned what that was like the other day.
I actually don't know what it stands for at all.
It's like audio, sensory, something.
Chuck, you don't know that?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Audio sensory sounds right. I believe that.
It is.
I
Motor.
gotta learn it from my kids.
Yeah. You sit there and chew and
You just breathe into the microphone.
That's weird.
Yeah,
So what's-
pepperoni's good.
Yeah. That's what's the first category?
All right, so let's do flavor. 1 through 5. I mean, it's kind of hard. Maybe we're judging both sides of this pizza.
Yeah, overall.
Here, throw me a jalapeno.
Not bad. Are these both jalapenos? Or just
I think
like green peppers
there's
in
There's
there's
not green peppers. If it's green peppers, you can
jalapenos.
throw it
There's
away.
I think it's sausage.
Sausage.
That shit's gross. Oh yeah.
Okay,
you-
sausage,
don't
jalapeno,
give me the
and
green pepper.
pepperoni.
It's not green pepper. Settle down.
I'm enjoying this pizza. And it's
We're doing flavor first, right?
flavor.
I'm gonna go with a 4. 4 out of 5.
No decimals, huh?
Yeah,
The fuck?
I know.
Now it's too.
Gets
I'll go 4 if I have to do no decimals.
yeah. I would go.
That's like
yeah.
Yeah,
Pushing it.
4.
I'm okay with 4 too. So we got 4.
Wait, why would you?
Be like 3.9, 3.8.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Was
I
there-
agree.
Was there a bad splash at the end or something?
Chris, you were at 4 on this.
Yeah, I'm at 4.
Okay. Crust. It's hard to say. I've only been eating the outside pieces.
Yeah.
So I got this nice, like, crunchy, crackly crust.
I would say it's standard. It's a 3.
I agree.
It's a little doughy.
It gets
Little
the
doughy?
job done, but it's not like okay. So there's like West Suburban tavern style pizza, and it's like basically double crust.
Oh. What do you mean by that?
That sounds
So
terrible.
Well, it's
There's-
what I grew up on. So this cracker crust, super thin tavern style, throughout the whole thing. You can only fit so much food on top of the crust before it turns into trash, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's cheese or toppings or whatever the fuck. When you get to the western suburbs, like Salerno's, Benny's, all these places, it's like Cicero, basically. Their crust is like double fat. And so they bake it for longer, so you still get crispy, but it's like just a lot more pizza. It's super value driven, Andy.
Sounds like way too much bread for me.
Do you like this? Do you like that pizza?
You know, that it's the constant conversation. It's like there's no good pizza where I live, so no.
Wow.
Where is some of your favorite tavern styles? Or we said Vito and Nick's.
Vito and Nick's is, but that's so far, man. I never go there.
Yeah. Pizza, fried chicken, ice cream in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
They're starting to do tavern
They
style.
just opened up, yeah.
Yeah.
Last year, right?
But I'm
Like-
hearing great things
Yeah,
about that one.
Joe's and Wheeling, Barnaby's. They're just Barnaby's is usually pretty good. It's got I like the cornmeal. They throw the cornmeal on the bottom of the crust, and if it's done right, usually it's got the crisp crunch
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it still. I feel like the cornmeal is like a cheat because you
Oh,
still
really?
well, it's like it gives the illusion that it's crispier than it
crispy,
is. So
Villanova. in Stickney on Pershing.
That's
Dynamite.
the
Wait, this is a place in-
Villanova.
Villanova,
Where the fuck is Stickney?
Harlem, and Pershing.
Okay.
That's west?
I have no idea where that is.
Yeah, it's
Southwest.
next to Berwyn,
Okay.
the town next door.
So you got to get a middle piece.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Oh, really?
Is it gross?
It's like doughier and
Soggy.
Yeah.
whatever. It's like
I trust you. But that's the stuff you save for the next day and throw back in a ripping hot oven.
for sure. Look,
know,
I'm
I
not
like
gonna
that.
not eat the middle of a pizza. It's probably
It's pizza.
this is
That's the fillet in there, man.
So, texture, we said 3. What about
You said crust is 3.
Crust is 3. Everybody?
and then I said 3. 3.
I'll say 3, I guess.
Got it. I want to add I don't know how we should do this, but I like that the jalapenos are spicy here. I don't know how we got to add that in. Sometimes I'm not crazy when you order jalapenos
It's
and
part
they're
of the flavor score.
they're too raw. I don't know, they're too fresh and there's no heat on it. But this one's actually spicy. So, so and the last one is value. So how much did this pie cost here? This is
How much was this?
how much was it?
28.
28, and this
$28?
is a 16 inch.
Pretty big.
It looks
pretty
like 16.
ritzy. I don't know.
28.
$28.
Because there's too much shit on it.
What was the last pie we did at 16? We did a 16-inch pie.
What was that?
$22, right?
One topping or 6?
Oh no! You know what? It was. I'm talking about Bob's Pizza. When you and I ordered Bob's the other day,
Oh yeah.
it was a 16-incher, $22.
Yeah.
And you weren't crazy about it, but
Don't say it.
okay, it was good.
It was delicious.
It was good.
Bob.
It was
Thank
delicious.
I think that if you're buying
Thanks,
a
Bob.
16-inch pie, it's like $25 minimum. No,
Yeah, I mean it,
like for a basic
I was-
one topping.
for like a cheese, you're probably spending $20,
Yeah.
$19. I'm assuming.
you. I'd say
Let's ask the experts, Joe.
3 or 4.
It's interesting to hear you guys talk about the cost of food. You guys see things a little differently than I think like the 4 of us would look at this. So
For sure.
There's 5 of you.
One of them don't count. Yeah, I'm gonna say overall for value, I'm gonna go with I don't know 3. And
Based on what? What's the lack of value here?
I've found better quality for about the same price. I would say overall, I don't think they're using like the best or even medium best ingredients here. That's my.
$28. That was the price. Yeah. So subtotal. All right.
Well, delivery doesn't count. Yeah. Like
Yeah, $28 subtotal for the pie. I'll go.
Delivered or picked up.
No delivery fee, no nothing. Just
the pizza.
Just the pizza. $28. Yeah, I might go to a 3 too. I just
I don't know. I don't know if delivery was included or not.
well, we have a menu right here.
It's gonna skew it.
Yeah, but then there's toppings too. So yeah, if there's delivery in that, then it's
there's toppings. There's split.
I can tell you this:
There's more on one side than the
an
other.
extra ingredient on a pizza is $2.50. Base price $17.25. So we're like $19.75 for a one-topping pizza. So that might have included the delivery.
If it's $20 for
Yeah, if it's
Let's
$20,
call it $20. I
then
think that's what it
uh,
probably
that's an
is.
easy
There's a
for.
7 there.
Yeah, easy.
If you're a college kid with $20 in your pocket,
Yeah,
you
and
got
you
that
get
thing in your
that,
fridge.
for
That's a
sure.
week's worth of food.
Yeah. If at $20, I'll bump. I'll keep it at a 4.
Yeah, for sure.
At $20, that's I'm happy with that pie.
Maybe a 5.
Maybe a 5.
I don't know. That's a lot of pizza for $20.
I think it's all speculation.
It is a lot of pizza.
I think no one knows the answer.
Yeah, it's all you're
We don't even know the price.
Judgment based
so.
on zero information.
I think we're gonna safely call it at $20 for this
I think the
pizza.
box is fantastic.
Yeah.
They do a nice.
I will say that this is a
It's a sturdy box.
I don't know what you call this thing, but they don't need to put that
Pizza
in there.
rug?
Is that what it is?
No.
It's like, but they don't need to put that in, and they do it. So there's a little.
Pizza carpet.
$1 million idea.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good. I mean, considering. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are
I wish that was my local.
It's
4 on
You know what I mean?
value.
Like,
well, there's definitely better in this area.
Where would you have ordered from here? Just curious, because we actually.
Domino's.
I order Domino's a
Ooh.
lot, dude.
You guys are crazy about that.
Is that a Momofuku hat?
It is.
Oh, it is.
Speaking of
Supporting
Domino's.
supporting the Koreans. Yeah, I love Domino's, man.
Domino's is great.
What's your order at Domino's? This has been coming up now quite a bit.
I like the
is
white
serious.
pie, thin crust white pie with bacon.
Have you ever had Jimmy's pizza?
Jimmy's is awesome.
He's got a white pie of Jimmy's. Have you tried that, Chris?
No, I don't know what Jimmy's is.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're
lives.
you're going to
live on the- I
Lakeview.
live on
He's
the
going to
opposite
Lakeview
side.
today, so he's not too far from it.
Yeah, but I don't order pizza from Lakeview.
Why?
I'm working.
Well, if you ever happen to be in the area and you want to try a white pie, give Jimmy's a try. It's pretty good stuff.
Jimmy's
Probably
is
not
great.
gonna happen.
It's very good. Pizza.
Sorry, Jimmy. No,
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
it's
Jimmy.
very good pizza.
Yeah, Jimmy's is pretty solid pizza.
I'll order with the trash I got out in the western suburbs.
What was the name of it again?
Well, Villanova is fantastic. But that's-
Villa Nova.
Yeah.
It's
that's-
one word, like the university.
No, it's like a place. It's like Villa Nova 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Villa.
Yeah.
Nova.
Yeah.
All right.
Either way, it's delicious. It's worth the trip.
Okay. Vito and Hicks and Villanova.
Yeah, I don't
Those
know.
are our favorites.
Okay. And then Joe, any pizza spots you wanna plug? Shout out.
So, I mean, the same ones we've been talking about, really, which is the Joe's Pizza Wheeling.
Man.
Here, around here, yeah, that's Barnaby's. There's a couple of them that deliver us. Jimmy's delivers here, which is, to me, it's the best New York style pizza that I've seen in the city.
Yeah,
personally.
I agree, man.
Yeah, I agree.
There's not too many of those, I guess.
No.
Not New York.
I've been
slice,
told
no.
that Pauly G's in Wicker Park does.
Pauly G's is great.
Slice. They do the window service.
Their pizza is very good. He does so many different styles of pizza
Yeah.
that I think it's he's one of the better pizza yolos
Pizza. Yolo.
Pizza. Yeah.
that
got skills.
that I've ever met. Honestly, I mean, he's very, very good. Pauly G's is great. Jimmy's Pizza we order a lot of here.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, lots of it. John's Pizza on Western.
On
I used
Western,
to order that all the time. That was the tavern style box cut. I haven't had it in probably 5 years, but I used to order that all the time.
They're still around?
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah.
They've been there forever as well.
All right.
We used to go to Village Pizza, 3 a.m. Fucking slices bigger than this
Yeah, those
table.
giant
Oh
slices.
my god, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That was a dump.
That gave me diarrhea.
When you guys aren't cooking, what's like some of your guilty pleasures you guys like to eat? And you got to throw in a fast food. What's your favorite fast food?
Ooh, my favorite fast food is Culver's by far.
Oh shit!
It's
The
fucking-
butter burger.
Fucking delicious.
Yeah, it is really.
It
good.
is by far. I think it is the best fast food burger there is.
I like White Castles.
White Castle.
Castles are good too.
I like White
Jalapeno or where do you
No,
go?
Just
Just
straight
stamped
up,
cheese?
Straight up slider.
Oh, no cheese.
No cheese. Dirty.
Do they do the pickles inside the? Are there pickles in just a regular hamburger?
Pickles and onions, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a steamy soft bun.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about pickles?
Love them.
In general,
Yeah.
delicious.
I mean,
I hate pickles.
what's wrong with you?
I know.
Yeah.
I hate pickles.
Right?
Oh, I
I've,
get it.
I've
It's
had
it's
I've had a
leading
few
question.
I've
It's
had a few
crazy.
good pickles in my life. So when that happens, it happens. When
Wait, are you talking like cucumber pickles or like all pickled things?
Cucumber.
so specifically cucumber pickles. Like I don't like that Vlasic shit. I don't like the stuff you get. And
easy.
yeah, I'm not.
Dude, if you would have told me that prior to this, I would not have come.
So like the other day we got some Bob's Pizza and my friend was just like, he's like, what are you doing? You got to get the pickle pizza from there. And I was just like, that's the last fucking thing on the world I would ever order. But I've had a few good ones out
That's
there.
crazy.
I like them when they're like garlicky and spicy and like made at, one of the chefs I worked with, his dad sent him some pickles that he made in Oregon and Portland, and they were fucking delicious. But I don't know. I like a good I like it when it's like there's a good snap and it's super garlicky.
So
It's
you like
super
a half
spicy.
sour, like a good Jewish half sour.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
it's not completely saturated with all the brine.
Yeah.
It's
we
not
shoulda-
super vinegary. It's yeah.
That's kind of like what I would
They
enjoy.
have those at Katz's.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
find yourself a half sour. You'll be a happy camper.
They're around here, everywhere. They're in the
I've never even heard that term.
Skokies are right there.
And I grew up in Skokie and Northbrook, you know,
Coffins
so
might have some.
Yeah, they have
Coffins
100%.
definitely have.
Absolutely.
interesting. All right,
Yes.
I gotta check it out.
You grew up in Skokie and you never had a half sour?
I've never had a half sour. I know. I know.
Because he hates pickles.
All right. I guess that's
I probably
fair, yeah.
saw it. I was like,
He's
"Fuck
not
that
going
shit."
to run to
It's fair.
shovel pickles down his throat.
What's going on? What's going on with you guys? We're gonna start wrapping this up for you guys. Anything you guys want to plug and shout out, and then let's go into your businesses and let's, CIRA right now open 7 days a week,
CIRA's open 7 days a week, correct?
and that's located at the Hoxton on what do you guys say? Green and
Green and
Lake
Lake,
or
yeah.
okay, Green Street,
Yeah, right
Lake
on the
Street.
corner. Can't miss it. Big old
7
building.
days a week. You guys are doing breakfast,
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, brunch.
and dinner
Jesus.
and
Yeah.
brunch. Yeah, that's a lot.
How many people do you have on staff right now as in the kitchen?
3. No,
Like, bro.
let's see, all in, realistically, I don't know, probably 22, 25, somewhere in there.
That's a beast.
That's not that many for seven.
7
Just
no,
services,
21
7 days a
shifts
week.
Just
essentially.
cooks? Yeah. Maybe a few more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't counted recently. I don't know.
Awesome. And CIRA, then you've got Swift and Sons. That's open. Are you guys open 7 days over there?
7 days, just dinner.
Only dinner. What time do you guys open up?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Awesome.
Is cold storage still happening?
No.
No. What did you do with the space?
Nothing yet. Cold storage is it's going to be built out into a new dining room for Swift and Sons.
Oh, okay.
So
Great.
that'll be done hopefully by late August, early September. Hopefully. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, and then you also have, with all the madness going on in Wrigleyville right now with the Crosstown Classic, you've
Go
got Swift and
Sox.
Sons Tavern,
Yep.
and that's been open for how many years?
1
1 year. Wow.
a year. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we got
It's a pretty cool dining room if you get that window seat. You're overlooking Wrigley Field.
yeah, it's an interesting place to be.
Yeah.
You know, dead across from the marquee for Wrigley Field.
Right.
Yeah.
Wrigleyville's changed so much over the years. I mean, I remember back when I was working for Cubby Bear and
Sure.
going downtown, that place is night and day from what it used to be.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah,
It's
they've
like
done a good job with it.
all those new restaurants,
Right.
Big Star.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You got a hotel. I mean, you got a fucking hotel next to Wrigleyville, now, Wrigley Field. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Anything in the works for you guys right now that you guys are
For me, no, it's about making sure that we can maintain the businesses that are currently open and
right?
run them safely and try to get through whatever we got to get through
Fuck yeah.
next.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't been, all of these restaurants are absolutely phenomenal. I've had amazing experiences at every one of those locations. I've literally even been to the Wrigleyville location when my friends were in town. So unbelievable places to go check out. Joe, you want to talk about Daisies a little bit? You guys are open.
Yeah, we are back to 5 nights a week, Wednesday through Sunday. 5 p.m. is when we open.
I know. We'll never see you,
We
Joe.
never get to go to dinner at these
5
restaurants.
that's us.
Yeah. So
many
Wednesday through
places have
Sunday
come-
night.
yeah.
you guys
Wednesday through
open at
Sunday
5?
night, 5 p.m. Right now we close at 10, but last kind of diner where we used to be open at 11. We'll probably go back there at some point. We are in the works of getting back to having our lunch reopen. We basically condensed everything down, moved all staff back to dinner so we could get it back. We're still not back to, like we probably used to do 290 covers on a Friday and Saturday, and we're doing around 130.
290.
290 on
190.
190. Still fucking crazy.
And we're back to
Over 3
maybe
turns.
140 right now. 130 is the most we've done. So we're trying to get back to that,
I might have missed it. Brunch services when Saturday, Sundays.
we're not doing any brunch.
Wait, where's the tomato being served? Is that dinner?
That's dinner, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will be back lunch. We're hoping lunch is back on the 25th. 5th, I believe. That's a Wednesday. And that is the sandwiches. The market will reopen. And it's going to run kind of like if you've ever been to like a Zingerman's
Oh yeah, yeah.
in Michigan, or even what's the one in like Cat's Deli, where you basically go in, shop, you get your sandwich, you shop around, and everything's kind of far more casual service at lunch than dinner.
I like that.
We're trying to get that back open on the 25th, so hopefully that'll be.
And you guys are on what's your reservation platform that people can
We're on
find you guys?
Talk.
Okay.
We've done their reservations, we've deposits, and
It's been working out for you guys.
very much so, yeah.
Really. I guess it's like it lets you know how many people you'll be serving.
Yeah, I mean, it's been we've changed in the past year. We've changed everything so many times.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
How we payroll, how we pay people.
Yeah,
how, the platforms we're on, who's conducive to the new style of service that we're doing, who integrates with our POS systems, like all these different things. And so we've settled on Talk, which we do take a reservation deposit now, because what was happening was we would have 5 to 10 no-shows a night. A night. For a restaurant that's our size, we can't do that. And so, in this post-COVID, current COVID world, supposed to be post, I guess, but
Right.
in this current COVID world, Talk allows us a ton of information gathering on the dining experience, every single thing that integrates with our POS, so we can track everything they ate last time they were there, whether they had a good time, the feedback, and all that other stuff. But also at the same time, we ask for a $10 deposit for you to make your reservation. Yeah. It's non-refundable. Like unless there's some extenuating circumstances, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like
No, and so we've gone down to 3 a month.
Oh, that's
that
amazing.
don't show up.
Yeah.
That was costing us a ton of money.
Yeah. People need to understand that.
Well, the other thing we hear all the time from like the Green City, like people who come up to the booth, we can't get a reservation at your restaurant, and it's like, one, that's a lie. Two, it's those reservations were holding people up from who are willing people to come into the restaurant. If you're not going to show up, like it's our revenue loss. We're planning on you being here.
So how do walk-ins work? Is that a thing or?
100%. Yeah, we have the patios. We have an outdoor patio that's got about 35 seats now.
It's an awesome patio, by the way.
10 people that we can sit at the bar. Those are our walk-in kind of first come, first serve only. If you have a reservation, you can elect to sit out there.
Yeah.
But it's not covered from the weather, so if it rains and you don't have a place to go back inside, we box your food up and you got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we try to avoid that situation at all costs.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do take walk-ins, and that's just we just don't collect the deposit fee for that because we know they're going to be there. They're literally walking into the restaurant.
They're right in front of your face.
That platform, yes, it has helped us a lot. We've changed the way we pay. Take payment. We do a service charge from here on out. We're not doing tips, things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh my God, it's something else.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And Chris, just to jump back, reservation platform for you guys, for anybody listening that want to check out
Open Table.
all of them.
Yep.
Awesome. Very cool.
Social media, Daisies. It's
Daisy Chicago,
at Daisy
Daisy
Chicago,
Chicago.
across the board.
and then CIRA Chicago,
Swift and Sons Chicago, Swift and Sons Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
and then personals. C Pandel, no,
Not existent.
doesn't exist.
I actually dove into Chris's Instagram and some interesting stuff on there, man. You got like a
It was like once every 8 years.
yeah. I didn't take me long, and then I saw the pic of Andy's City Rock opening. I was like, what the hell? That wasn't that long ago. Guys, thank you for coming out. I've got a little parting gift for you guys. This is from a product we use at our restaurant. It's West 32 soju. This is made in New York City, just outside.
Cool.
And so this is soju that's made here stateside, and it's primarily wheat. And then they barrel age it for 6 months in American oak. So it does pick up some of those flavors that it imparts that you get from the oak. And it's absolutely delicious. I actually enjoy this neat, and I like it. I don't like it chilled. I kind of drink it like whiskey. I mean, I'll do a lot of this stuff.
That's so funny.
But yeah, give it a try. You guys
you
can
very
mix
much.
it up. We
Yeah,
use
thank
it
you.
in one of our cocktails. And it's also distributed, I got to throw a little love, by Momentum Beverage. Should you guys end up wanting to pick one of these up. Awesome little distributor here in Chicago that I'm excited to work with. They always have some pretty cool shit. And so check it out, West 32, soju.com. This is their reserve. And
Sick.
guys, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
out
all
and
so
making
much.
some time.
Pleasure, boys.
Can't thank you guys enough, man. Thanks for coming by.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for tuning in to this episode of Kimchi Kids Podcast. I'm Thomas,
I'm Andy.
and that's a wrap.